Hello Blood Bowl fans and welcome to another weekly breakdown of Luck of the Dice. This one is a special breakdown because today I have one of my favourite coaches of the ICBBL with me. I have Krisjay. Hello Chris.
Hello everyone. Hello AD.
Good to have you here. So we're going to go through the breakdown almost as normal, but something is going to be different. We don't actually know what yet, so stay tuned to find out. And starting with Division A, we have Feke's Chaos, Lanisha's Favourites, against Andy's Undead, the Old Gods. Yasinde's High Elf Salt-Free is Fine took on Guinness's Bretonian's Luck du Draw. Krisjay, who is with me still, Orcs took on Greenskin Red Spikes took on the Humans of Fallen Glory, Spirits United, and Squiggy's Dwarfs, You Made Me Do This, took on My Labyrinthians, the Chaos Dwarfs. Chris, do you want to talk about the first game?
Yeah, the Slanish's Favorites lost 0-2 against the Old Gods, and he's, I don't know, used his mind powers or whatever to win this one.
Mind powers, I like it. Yeah, the Elves had a bit of a dodgy start, or not dodgy start, more to the point, against the Bretonians. The Bretonians somehow managed to come away with a 2-0 win here.
In my game, my Orcs, I don't know, were as usual not that powerful against Fallen Glories, whatever team he was playing.
Humans.
So he won 0-2 playing against me.
And it looks like I won this last game, but it was actually an admin loss, because unfortunately Squiggy still has no computer, so I won by the grace of the ICBBL board.
Yeah, it's a shame. I heard Squiggy's really good with the Dwarves. Unfortunately, it had to be simulated.
Yeah, Squiggy's a good coach in general. He's not very happy with the Dwarfs, to be fair, but I think he's been doing alright overall. Yeah, that's it. Let's have a look at the games individually then. Alright, having a look at game number 1 then. We've got Feke's Chaos, Lanisha's Favourites, against the Old Gods, led by Andy's, the Undead team. We don't actually have a breakdown from either coach, but we do have the report from our good old friend Schleiss. He's done a really good job there, and Krisjay has that for us.
Yes, it's a very handy report here. So, looks like both coaches were blocking pretty even, with 45 for Chaos and 41 for the Old Gods. And armor breaks were pretty even as well, 9 and 10. 1 KO for each team, and one player got surfed as well. That's pretty handy as well. It's not that. It means that was not a completely boring game, probably. Well, Blood Bowl never is. Anyway, there was also one injury on the Chaos. Voltigors got injured and lost armor value. I don't know. How will that impact his roster? And there was one level up on the Chaos team as well. He got Vestigor got level 2, and I think Feke chose extra arms.
Okay, we'll have a look at the development in just a second. Thank you though, that was very helpful.
Alright.
Yeah, no worries. It's I didn't warn you, to be fair. Sorry, losing my voice. Yeah, so that's the excellent feedback from Schleiss. It's a very useful tool. In terms of SPP, just to have a look at this, there was 7 gained on the Chaos side, and there was 10, 15, 17 on the Undead side. So I'm choking on coffee. And taking a look at the Chaos team then. So if you could just give us the injury and the level up again, Chris?
Yes, there was one injury after this match. Voltigors lost armor value.
Mm-hmm.
After an injury, and Vestigor got a level up, and Feke chose extra arms, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did. And this team in general, it's still looking a bit bare bones at the moment, with 11 pieces, one of them out injured, so there will be a loner next week. There's still just the 2 Chaos Warriors, and he's still stuck with that 1 team reroll, so he's got 100 in the bank. I hope he's saving up for that 1 team reroll, but we may see him replace the Chaos Warrior. It's hard to say. Though I hope he does be sensible and keep the money. In terms of development, though, his team is a bit slow in development, which is a worry for a Chaos team. Would you agree with that?
Yes, completely. It's that still that one reroll that's holding him back, and since he's not winning matches, he's not getting SPP, and yeah, that's actually been a problem for several teams, I think, in Luck of the Dice. The lack of level ups.
Yeah, and of course with lack of level ups as well, you've got to keep working with a team that you're not necessarily very comfortable playing, because remember that we didn't choose our teams in this cup, they were chosen for us by the gods. So yeah, it can be a problem if you're playing with a new team, especially. Okay, that's it for Chaos. Let's have a look at the Undead team, his opponent. Were there any level ups or injuries on the Undead team, Chris?
No level ups, and no, there was actually one level up, sorry.
Yep.
Tooth got guard.
Yes.
And I think he got a new zombie as well.
I think so, yeah, because I don't think he had 4. Oh no, there's 4 here, sorry.
Yeah, 6 to Martui, or Martui, whatever you pronounce it. That should be a new zombie. It's number 5 here.
He does look like a new zombie. And the white AD English 2 is still alive, so hopefully that curse is lifted where AD English keeps dying. But we'll see. And in terms of this team then, we got 40 in the bank, so we could take one more zombie if we want to, though I don't really see the point. And in terms of development, this team is doing a little bit better. We got a mummy with guard, which is very useful, and of course the ghoul with block and a ghoul with guard, also very useful. Overall, this team is looking quite healthy, actually. I'm kind of glad they're behind me. What do you think, Chris?
I'm not very glad, because I still have to play this team, I think. And the longer they get to develop, the harder it will be for me to play. Against them, not sure it lacks anything. Maybe, no, he can't get another white, it's only 2, right?
No, there's maximum whites with the 2, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
the only thing he can buy is one more ghoul, if he wants to, which he might be saving up for, actually.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. And I think this is the first game for the Undead team where the entire team is intact. Every game I've seen them so far, there's been a piece out. We've missed next game, with an injury, or something. So, whoever their next opponent is, they're going to have a bit of a problem, potentially.
They would have a problem anyway.
They would, that's true. Alright, that's it for game number 1. Let's move on to game number 2. Taking a look at game number 2 then, we had Yacinde's High Elf Salt Free is Fine against Luke did a draw. And the Bretonians won 2-0. What did Schleiss have to say about this, Krisjay?
Yeah, it looks like High Elves had quite a lot of problems against Bretonians. Bretonians dominated all the statistics here, all the fields, so 25 to 39 in blocks overall, 9 armor breaks on High Elves against 7 for Bretonians, and 2 KOs, so more Bretonians were knocked out, but at the same time Guinness managed to serve 3 elves here. And the last bit is that High Elves did 2 passes and managed to catch them both, and Bretonians did 1 successful pass, which was catched as well.
Cool. 3 serves, that's a lot.
That's a lot, yes.
I don't have an official breakdown from this game, but Yacinde did say some nice things about his opponent, so we will just have a quick read of that. He said, enjoyed playing Guinness a lot. Thanks for showing me my weaknesses. I have to work on that. And he outplayed me, fair and square. So he's been very humble in defeat, which is nice to see. And it looks like he had fun playing against Guinness, which is also nice to see. And if we have a look at MVP and SPP, unfortunately Dolpher Longstride got the Bretonian MVP, which is not really what you want. He's also a bit of a strange star for the Bretonian team, but that's good to see. He's getting some use. And a lineman got MVP for the High Elves. SPP went 7 High Elves and 11 for the Bretonians. Having a look at the High Elf development, Krisjay, do we have any?
There was one lineman level up,
Yep.
who got dodge, and if I'm not mistaken, there was another lineman who got block.
Yeah. They got both this game?
Yes, after this game.
Okay, that's good. So 2 new leveled ups, both linemen. He's got 50 in the bank, which can't really help him. And he's got, how many players is this? 5 gaps. So he's got the 11-man roster. And it's developing quite well. He may take more catches, but at the moment he's got all the positionals he really needs. And most of the SPP has gone to catches. So the High Elves have been doing well, especially in the league where they are destined to die. What do you think, Chris?
Well, they are actually not dying, so it's going pretty well for them.
Yeah. I don't know what Yasinde is feeding them, but it's working.
Probably he found some new leaves on the trees. No, these are wood elves, sorry. I don't know what high elves eat.
Yeah, I don't think we want to know what High Elves eat, to be honest, because they keep everything nice and secret, so
Yeah,
there is that.
that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything missing from this High Elf team, so unless something dies, I don't really see the point in spending the money that he's getting.
He'll probably play even better after this match, and if he's not losing the main players, he should be fine, I think. Linemen are replaceable on this one.
Well, yeah, even a lineman can be a star in a High Elf team, so
Yeah, that's true.
that's very much the case. And looking at the Bretonians then, do we have any development in this team?
Yes, there was development, and Alex, with a very long surname,
Yeah,
who's a blocker, got wrestle.
he got dodge. Yeah. He
Alright.
already had wrestle, but he's been given dodge. Yes, that's right. And there's a blitzer missing from this team still, but he can't afford to replace it with 50. He's still missing the apothecary. I'm surprised he hasn't bought it yet. So maybe we'll see the 50 spent on that. And otherwise, pretty standard Bretonian team, really. A bench of 2, 3 if you can replace the blitzer, and slow but steady development on the Bretonian team, I think. Anything to add?
Well, this looks stronger and stronger each match, because I think he was missing a couple of blockers at the start, and now he's getting them.
Yep.
So it'll be only harder to play this team. The later you get to play against them in the cup.
Yeah, as we go along, it'll be harder to face Guinness. He's another opponent that I was glad to get very early, I must admit. And even though Guinness has said, he's not much of a Bretonian coach, he's doing fine. I don't think he's lost a game yet.
No, I don't think so, yeah.
So he's doing absolutely fine. And there we go then. That's it for game number 2. Moving on to game number 3 then, we have our co-host Krisjay's team, the Greenskin Red Spikes Orcs, against Fallen Glorious Humans Spirits United, and the Humans won 2-0. What did Schleiss have to say about this game, Chris?
Well, Schleiss Sport says that Fallen outplayed me in every way. He blocked almost twice as much as my team, 30 to 51. He broke 8 armor breaks on my orcs. I just managed 5. There was 1 KO on each team, 1 casualty on my team and 2 casualties on his team, and both teams made 1 successful pass each.
Okay, that's good. Let's have a look at the breakdown then, because I have a breakdown from Fallen Glory, and I switched the page, that was stupid. There we go. So, he says, pre-game no inducements, the brief. Humans won the toss and chose to attack, early on denying 3 blocks for the Orc team while taking as many themselves as they could. A really good kickoff by Chris in the front and on the sideline required a 1-turn, 1-pass from catcher to thrower. Afterwards, Chris set up a nice defense on the right, but left his other side mostly uncovered. A quick handoff to the plus agility human Whiskey Wolfgang secured the ball deep into Orc territory. The humans managed to hold off the Orcs for a few turns, but finally scored on turn 6, leaving the Orcs 3 turns to score back, which they almost did by a nice handoff pass combo into a switch and bait move. Initially moving right, but eventually moving over the humans' left flank. However, the Orc Blitzer in scoring range was quickly neutralized on turn 8 of the humans, leaving the score 0-1. In the second drive, the third rock that was thrown by the crowd left the Black Orc out cold, denying Chris the power he needed to push through. Eventually the humans started closing in around the ball, and left little possibility for the Orcs to escape. Rowdy Rum, the human ogre, had a big role in denying the Black Orcs their blocks. Eventually the Orcs were down to 6 players, and the humans were able to steal the ball at that point, leaving the fresh rookie catcher to score. Final score, 0-2. Highlights: do not dodge away from Rowdy Rum. Really, just don't. You might die and reroll into minus AV. Scary amount of blocks taken and conceded 50 against 30. The humans seem to have unbreakable armor at times. Further research for forbidden weapons used by the humans will be conducted by the League of Goblin Referees. That was long, but there we go, that's done. Having a look at the the SPP and MVP first of all. We had Gutclaw the Blitzer getting MVP and Rowdy Rum the Ogre. And the SPP went 8 for the Orcs and 16 for the humans. Let's have a look at team development, starting with Chris's Orcs. So Chris, you can tell me actually, what happened to your Orc team?
Nothing much has happened since after the match as well. No level ups, and I got actually a new Black Orc before this match, but I think he got injured again. Or no, another. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Got injured.
Yeah, all your Black Orcs are in one piece apart from the one with Nickel, and you've got a Blitzer with minus AV, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll let you talk about your own development for your team. What are the plans for the Green Skin Red Spikes?
Well, I was hoping to develop my Black Orcs a bit faster, but in the end they decided to get injured. So, like other teams in the cup, my development for this team is quite slow for some reason. Basically, because I'm not scoring enough, and that's the problem. I just have one level up on the thrower, and I think it's slowing me down compared to other teams like the humans, for example, who already had, 4 level ups before the match.
Yeah, I think the human team are the most developed, actually, in our division.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a look at them next, though. In terms of what I think so far, I'd agree with you. Your team is slowly developing, which is hard, but Orcs are pretty scary even when they're not developed, to be fair. Though, yeah, missing a Blitzer is always a bad sign, so whoever your next opponent is, it's going to be a bit tricky for you, maybe. But we'll see. Alright then, and let's have a look at those Yumis. Where are they? There they are, Spirits United. So what development have we had on the human team then?
Yeah, there was a level up on Whiskey Wolfgang.
Yep.
He got Strip Ball.
He did, yeah, that's correct. That's a Blitzer. And yeah, this team is developing incredibly nicely. There's 80 in the bank as well, so I don't think we're going to buy any more players, there's no need. He's missing an Apothecary still. Wow.
He is? Wow, I didn't notice that.
So, Fallen Glory, get on that, buy the Apothecary, man.
Yeah, he should, because you are only armor value 8, all the players, and eventually someone will die.
Yeah, the only armor value 9 is the Ogre, but avoids, yeah, armor value 8.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's got block on the Ogre as well, I mean, that's just sick.
That's that's awful. I don't know how to play against him now. That Ogre will create so much trouble.
Yeah, and I think you said there are 4 level ups on the team, but there's more. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 in total already, so this team is developing.
He got more after our match, I think.
Yeah.
At least one. Yeah.
That makes sense. But the team is developing really nicely, so the human team is becoming really one to watch in this league, I think. Let's kill us some humans.
We should.
Alright, that's it for game number 3. And the last game of this division then, we had Squiggy's Dwarves, who made me do this against my Labyrinthians, the Chaos Dwarves. I was really looking forward to this game, but unfortunately it ended up being an admin win for me, because Squiggy is unfortunately still not in the game. So just touchdown on Squiggy's side with MVP on a Blitzer, and 2 touchdowns on my side with an MVP on the Chaos Dwarf blocker. And the touchdowns went to different players. If we have a look at the Dwarf team first of all, there was 1 level up on a runner, but of course Squiggy can't check his team, so we're still waiting for that piece to level up. Otherwise, the team is as it was when it started, basically, unfortunately. The development has been slow on this team because he's now lost 2 games by admin loss. Anything to add, Chris?
Not really, he hasn't played 2 games now, so he hasn't had a chance to do anything with the team.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because we wanted to see Squiggy play. He is part of Steel next season at least, so that's going to be nice. So we are going to get him in the proper league. Yeah. Okay, and moving on to my guys then, the Labyrinthians. I actually got quite a lot of development from this. My Minotaur, yay, leveled up. And also a Chaos Dwarf Blocker leveled up, the Smurf Dwarf Blocker. I also completed the team by buying 2 more Chaos Dwarves because I had enough to pay for the 2 of them. So my team is now complete. And I have 2 lots of guard, as well as that Kick Hobgoblin, of course. Chris, do you want to say anything about my team?
Yes, I had a look at your roster before we started recording, and I felt so happy because you had only 1 level up and you only had 11 players, and now my spirits are down before our match. Yeah. You're doing pretty well now with the Minotaur, with the guard as well, so it'll be pretty hard to play against you.
The best thing is as well, if I want to, I can now put the Minotaur on the bench, which is something that I really am quite happy about. Because in some matchups I don't really want him, but he can be scary. Against the High Elves, for example, I don't think I'll use him. But otherwise, yeah. I'm quite happy with my development as well. So that's it for the last game of Division A. So, having a look at next week then, we've got Squiggy's Dwarfs, You Made Me Do This, against Fake's Chaos Lanish's Favourites. Krisjay's Greenskin Red Spikes take on me! That's why we're doing this today. The Chaos Dwarves Labyrinthians. Sulfry is Fine, the High Elves from Yasinde take on Humans from Fallen Glory Spirits United, and the Undead Old Gods of Andes take on Guinness's Luc de la Draw Bretonians. So, having a look at this first game then, let's assume that Squiggy does get his computer back. What do you think, Chris? Who do you like in this matchup?
I would go for Dwarves, just because they have more block on the team.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it depends on Chaos and Fake's luck.
Yeah, I like the Dwarfs as well, just because basically the abundance of skills, the extra reroll, everything, it all goes against Fake, unfortunately. He's had a really hard season, by the way he set up the team originally. So, I can see that continuing. And me against you, Chris, what do you think?
I already said what I think. My spirits are down, because your team looks pretty strong now, and with an extra players on the bench, it'll be hard to push you away from the ball.
Okay. Well, you're never a write-off, I'll say that right away. You're a good coach, so I'm not too confident going into this game. But on paper, at least, I like my team as well, to be honest. Though I know it's going to be difficult, and I think that basically the development on your team is going to hurt you in our match a little bit.
Yeah, it's the way it is. I'll just try to slow you down, and if I get lucky, I'll try and score something. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think your team is more set up for scoring, to be fair. My team is mostly set up as a defensive team at the moment, so I'm going to be looking for a 1-0 grind against you.
Alright.
Yeah. And having a look at the High Elves against the Humans, I think this is kind of the highlight of this season at the moment, considering how these teams have been playing. It's going to be an interesting game, this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the favorites here might be the Humans, because I saw how Fallen Glory played them, and they look pretty strong on the field.
Yeah, well, I think these two, I'm not sure, we'll have a look in a minute, but I think these two teams are at the top of the league at the moment, and I'd find it difficult to choose between them, actually, though I agree, I slightly favour the Humans, especially considering that Fallen Glory is quite good at stopping dodge chances, so that's going to go against the High Elves a little bit. So I favour the Humans too. And the last game, the Undead against the Bretonians.
Well, I would say that this is the match of this round because of the coaches that are meeting.
Mhm.
They both are pretty strong, Andy's and Guinness. So I'll try and watch this match as well, if Andy's streaming or whatever.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well, actually. There's lots of games to watch this week, to be fair. I think mine and Krisjay's would be quite good, just to toot our own horn. The Humans versus High Elves, and, of course, Guinness against Andy's, just because they're both such immense coaches. Sure, I'd agree. And I wouldn't want to pick a winner between these two, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really hard to say.
Okay.
Anything can happen in that one, yeah.
Sure. And let's do this last little bit in one take. Moving on to the leaderboard then, let's see how it's going. I'll just read it first, then we can talk about what we think. The Humans of Fallen Glory are at the top with 3 wins and a draw. I'm in second. Really? With 2 wins and 2 draws. The High Elves are in third with 2-1-1, and they're joined third with Andy's with 2-1-1 as well. Krisjay is in fourth with 1-2-1, and Bretonians as well in fourth with 1-2-1. We have Fake in fifth with 1-0-1-3, and unfortunately Squiggy at the bottom with 0-0-4, but he has missed 2 games, to be fair to him. And I'm surprised, actually, I'm so high.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well. You haven't lost a match as well, so...
Yeah, that's true. Well, just me and Fallen Glory were the only 2 who haven't lost a match yet. I thought Yasinde hadn't either, but apparently... Oh, he lost against the Bretonians, of course he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this is still going kind of the way I predicted, but Squiggy and Krisjay are lower than I expected them to be.
Well, I have my chances to come back because I'm
Yeah.
playing the second, the third, and fourth coach at the moment in my next matches. So I'll see how it goes.
God, you got some tough games left.
Yeah, that's true, but at least I have my chances to go up higher, and I want to do it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to go into the playoffs anyway.
Oh yeah, come with your A game. Well, you always do, to be fair. Now, I'm looking forward to our game, actually. It's going to be one of the key games in the draw, so it's going to be interesting in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well that's it for Division A. Let's move on to Division B. And moving on to Division B, then, the other 8 coaches. We had Hoy or Gottfried Gurnason's Kemri Nagash's buddies against Smocko's Luck of the Rats, the Skaven. Undo's Owls on Parade, the Wood Elves took on Varkson's Viking Raid Norse. Urban Zorro's Necromantic Brody's Chosen took on Top Hat's Dark Elves Ho Ho Ho's. Oogs Us Give Hugs, the Lizards took on Jackals Nurgle, the Butt Pains.
In the first match, Gortrek's Nagash buddies lost their match against Rats, 1-2.
In the second match, Varkson managed to shore his boats and took out the Wood Elves and burnt down some trees, 2-1.
In the third match, well, this one's another one of those simulated matches, and Urban Zorro's Brody's Chosen 1-2-1 against Ho-Ho-Ho's.
And the Lizards and the Nurgles cancelled each other out with a 1-1 draw at the end. Let's have a look at the individual matches. Having a look at game number 1 in Division B then. Hoy's Nagash's buddies managed to lose 1-2 against Smocko's Luck of the Rats, the Skaven team. Chris, what did Schleiss have to say about this game?
It looks like the Kemri were dominating in blocking because they did twice as much blocks and also managed to break the armor 14 times against 10. They did 4 KOs and they were almost the same number of casualties on both teams, 4-3, and there was 1 kill by Kemri. But in the end, the Rats won the game anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of normal in terms of statistics there then. And looking at MVP and SPP then, we have MVP on the Skeleton. He has leveled up off this MVP. And we have a loner who got MVP on the Rat side, which is a shame, but we'll see if he's been bought. His name is Finnet. And, lots of SPP. Okay, so 10, 16 for the Kemri, and 10, 17 for the Rats. Let's have a look at the teams then, starting with Khemri. They've got a player missing, is the first thing. But they do have 130 in the bank, so we may actually finally see the Blitzra join the team that's still missing. And has there been any development? Sorry, Chris?
Yes, there was a level up on Anthrok with a dirty player.
Ah, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And sorry, I did that out of order. That was my mistake. And so yeah, the Blitzra is missing, and I'm still surprised about that, but we may see him bought finally. Otherwise, the team is developing okay, but it's a little bit slow. And Chris, do you have anything to add?
Nothing really. He really needs lock on those Tomb Guardians, and then lock or Mighty Blow. Then it might develop a bit faster.
Yeah, I'd agree. And what do you think about the missing Blitzra and missing Furrow? It's quite rare.
Yeah, it's quite rare. Maybe it was killed earlier.
No, he hasn't had. He's always had one Blitzra. It's been weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I think I started with 2 rerolls when I made my team, and I had enough money for Blitzra then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's
chosen to take rerolls.
Sorry. Yeah, I think that's what happened here as well, that he chose the rerolls instead of the positionals. But I'm still surprised that we haven't seen him added to the team. But okay. That's it for the Khemri team, and his opponent. Who was his opponent? The Rats, yeah. Luck of the Rats. Was there any development on this team?
Yes, there was a level up on Minge. He got Mighty Blow.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 rats were fired or died, and he got a new line rat as well.
Yeah, the new line rat is actually the loner that leveled up, Phenut. He has joined the team. And was it a lineman who was killed?
I'm not sure. I just know that 2 rats are missing from the previous roster.
Ah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, and I actually think that... I remember what happened actually. Smoko said in the chat that he bought the line rat by mistake. So it wasn't actually the plan to buy this line rat. He wanted to spend the money on something else. I don't know what though. So there is that. In terms of development, we've got some nice development on this one gutter runner, that's for certain. And the Mighty Blow looks nice as well, but quite slow for a Skaven team.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that as well. He's playing pretty well, it seems, but somehow it's not developing. Maybe it's spreading?
Yeah, it looks like it, to be fair. There's quite a spread on the middle pieces.
Yeah, although he must be a bit careful if he develops one of the gutter runners too fast, and then he's lost and he's losing a huge part of his team.
Yeah. I think he's being sensible actually by spreading out the touchdowns. You can see with the free on the gutter runners. So,
yeah, I see that as well. Yeah.
So he must be doing something right, but like you say, yeah, he has to be careful about this Slool going too far and being too inexpendable. Alright, that's it for the first game. Looking at game number 2 in Division B then, Varxen's Norse Viking raid took on the Wood Elves, Owls on Parade led by Undo, and the Varxen won 2-1. What did Schleiss have to say about this one?
Looks like the Vikings dominated most of the match with 55 blocks against 24, 26 armor breaks against
Yikes.
6, 9 KOs against 4, so 4 casualties made by the Norse. Someone was killed as well on the Wood Elf team, as usual probably, and there was 1 pass on the Wood Elf team.
Okay, thank you. And having a look at MVP and SPP then, there's a lineman who got MVP and leveled up, there's a berserker who got MVP, which is always nice, and SPP we've got 9 for the Wood Elves, and we've got 11, 17, 19 for Norse, so that's a lot of SPP for Norse. And I have a rundown, sorry, for this game, I just forgot about that, from Varxen, and it is long, so bear with me. Pre-game, Viking Raid had 1 Bloodweiser Babe. Brief, the Norse won the toss, elected to receive. Wood Elf kickoff kick landed just on the halfway, and they seized the initiative through a blitz, a War Dancer catching the ball as it came down. The 3 following turns were a scramble for the ball, but the Wood Elves came away with it. Falling back in their own half, Norse kept up the pressure, eventually managing to reclaim the ball and score in turn 8. Second half saw the Wood Elves being pushed to score early on their drive, then the Norse were lucky to avoid leaping War Dancers and cavorting Elves as they pushed up the field to score again in turn 16, and scored 2-1 to the Viking raid. Highlights. First 2 turns saw both War Dancers in danger of being served, only being saved by being knocked down instead. The Agility 5 War Dancer was injured, but the Wood Elves called upon their Apo to keep him in the fight. This left the Woodies without an Apo from turn 1 onwards, which is scary for Wood Elves. The War Dancer ball carrier on the Wood Elf drive was almost served, but the blitzing Ulfarina rolled double skulls. A prior double skull during the same turn prevented a reroll. Agility 5 War Dancer was continuously skillful at avoiding blocks, yet then went on to fail multiple 2+ leaps. One Wood Elf lineman died, it was a lineman that died, late in the game. And notes, a relatively bloodless event, a lot of KOs. Surprising given the overall armor value 7 and combined efforts of 32 successful armor breaks from both teams. Norse were lucky with armor breaks, 26 of 55, successful compared to Woody's 6 of 24, a fun game that both coaches thoroughly enjoyed. That's nice. Let's have a look at the teams then, starting with Undo's Wood Elves. So we're down to a 10-man roster with the lineman that died, and there's another one that is out with, I guess, in this next game. But what's the development on the team, Chris?
There were 2 level ups,
Mm-hmm.
both on lineman. One got kick and the other got dodge.
Mm-hmm. And the Kiliang the name, it's an MNG? Alright, I'll have a look. Yeah, it is. That's fine. This next game. Right. Well, the Wood Elves are developing very nicely, and there's 70 in the bank which can be used to replace that dead lineman if he wants to, though he may be saving up for another positional. I think he probably is. Anything to add there?
Well, he needs more dodge maybe on his team,
Yeah.
on the lineman. I don't know. Either he goes dodge or block. But yeah, maybe he needs more players to fill that in. Although he has already both War Dancers, so they can pretty much do most of the scoring if necessary.
Yeah, he does have 2 catches as well. I mean, the 2 catches are dangerous for any opponent too, so I don't know. This team is pretty well developed. I don't think he needs to replace the player. Alona will be fine for 1 game, so he can buy a positional instead. Or the tree.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He could be saving up for the tree as well. That's an option, I guess.
Maybe that the tree normally is a late buy for any Wood Elf team.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's it for the Wood Elves. Neither me nor Chris are particularly a Wood Elf coach, so we don't really have too much to say, I think, in that regard. And having a look at Norse then, what's the development on the Norse team?
I don't think there were any level ups, but he got a new player, a Yeti.
Ah, the Yeti wasn't there before. Of course he wasn't. No, yeah, that is new. Interesting. So that's what he spent his bank on. That's why he's down to 10. Makes perfect sense. And Varkson always does this thing where he completely shuffles the team, and it's really difficult for me to see what's going on. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
A lot of the SPP has gone to the Berserkers, which is quite normal, and the run is doing alright as well. Overall, I think this team has developed quite nicely in the Cup. It's gone to all the right people at least. Though the Ulfs are missing SPP, of course. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, the Wolves need to develop a bit because they are key pieces here with Strength 4. And yeah, normally you try to get block on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that he should try and get.
Yeah, but otherwise a good-looking team, and the runner is close to leveling again, actually, so that's nice as well. And it's plus agility, so that piece
Plus
is
agility, yeah, he'll be a very strong player.
Yeah, that piece is going to be a very big pain. That's good. Okay then, that's it for game number 2. Alright, moving on to game number 3, which unfortunately is the second admin win this week, because these two didn't manage to get their game played. Brody's Chosen, led by Urban Zorro, won the game, and a zombie got MVP, and the 2 touchdowns went to the exact same piece. Robin Killiams, good old names from Urban Zorro. And the assassin got MVP. There's an assassin in this team now. That got MVP in the Ho-Ho-Ho's team. And the touchdown went to a different piece. Let's have a look at the teams then, starting with Brody's Chosen. The only development is the Flesh Golem that hasn't been rolled yet because we've literally just admin this game, so Urban Zorro hasn't had a chance to have a look. Otherwise, there's 11 in the bank, he already has 12 players. I don't really see him spending this money, to be honest. And the development in general has been pretty nice on this team. What do you think, Krisjay?
Well, that Flesh Golem will just add to it. I think he should take the second stand firm on it. So just to make sure he can't be moved anyway.
That sounds like a good idea. Second stand firm, yeah. I'm intrigued actually. Could you take a second stand firm? If you roll double...
No, you can't. No.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, is there something that works in a similar way? Not really.
Sure.
Not really, no. Okay. No, we're likely to see Mighty Blow, I think, from Urban Zorro.
Yeah, it's either that or a block.
Yeah, block as well, of course. Yeah. Though, yeah, Urban Zorro tends to take risks, so I think we're more likely to see Mighty Blow here. Alright, and having a look at the Dark Elves then, the Ho-Ho-Hos. And there's a player missing still. There's only 50 in the bank, so we can't actually replace him. And there's no development, as far as I can tell. This team has had a rough season, it looks like. And what do you think, Chris?
It's doing not that bad actually. He has 3 leveled up players here, but yeah, that missing player. I don't know how hard it is with one loner. Shouldn't be too hard for him. He just needs to get his head together and don't take risks in the matches, and should do better.
Yeah, a loner in an elf team in general isn't usually so bad. He is missing the apothecary, I've just noticed, so we could pay for that.
He could use that, yeah.
Yeah, definitely should pay for that, actually. Alright, well, that's it for game number 3. And finally then, game number 4. The Lizards Us Give Hugs take on Nurgle the Butt Pains 1-1. What does Schleiss have to say about this matchup, Chris?
Well, at first it seems like a pretty even match, because both teams manage to block evenly with 35 for Lizardmen and 42 for Nurgle. But Nurgle were so successful in armor breaks with 13-3 that it seems that unsettles the balance a bit. And 3 KOs by Nurgle against 1 casualty on each team, and 2 serfs by Nurgle as well.
2 serfs, nice. Okay, well, Jackal has said that he doesn't like this team very much, so it's good to see that he's actually managed to get a result. Not the one he wants, obviously, but a draw is definitely better than a loss. And in terms of SPP then, MVP went to Cannot Go For It. He got the MVP, a skink, and the Rotter Incontinence, horrible, also got MVP. And the SPP went 10 for the Lizards and 10 for Nurgle, so even all round, actually. Having a look at the teams then, starting with the Lizardmen. Is there any development on this team?
Not that I can find.
There is an injury. I guess it's a miss next game, but let's check. Yes. There's a skink with a broken jaw, so he's going to miss next game, but otherwise it doesn't look like it. Overall though...
Poor skink, yeah.
Sorry.
That will go on.
Okay, overall though, this team is... Well, there are a lot of pieces that are relatively close to leveling, so the team is almost at its we're going to start growing phase, but at the moment it is going a little bit slow. And there must be something new, because there's been some money spent. I'm not sure what though.
Maybe he got an extra skink.
I guess so. And what do you think about the development in general, Chris?
Well, the sources are pretty slow as usual, and I like that break tackle on Croxigor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think he's done pretty well protecting his skink. If he hasn't lost more by this point.
Yeah, I think he's lost a skink or two, but he hasn't really had any serious injuries on the team, so he's been alright in that regard.
Yeah, and he has no money left over, so he must have bought something.
Yeah, he must have bought a skink, because I'm pretty sure he had all the Saurus before the match. So maybe it was a roll of 1, I guess, considering Fun Factor is free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and having a look at the butt pains, the Nurgle team. Someone's having a party outside. I don't know if you can hear that. Sorry if you can.
Yeah, a bit.
Okay, well, there's a rotter missing, apparently. Otherwise, the team is the same as it was. Is there any development on this team?
No, I couldn't find any developments for this one as well.
Okay. Well, this team is definitely developing slower. We've only got the 1 level up, and the rest... Well, we've got a Pestigore who's 1 touchdown away from leveling at least, so we may see some development next week. He's got 110 in the bank, so we may see 1 more Pesty, actually.
Yes, it looks like he's lost 1 player before, so that 1 missing player in position 9. Otherwise, yeah, it's one of those teams that is developing slow for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think this team has scored too many. I think that's one of the main problems.
Yeah, probably
just
that's the reason, yeah.
Just 2 touchdowns in the history, so that would go some way to explaining it. Alright, well, that's it for game number 4. Having a look at next week's matches then. Hoy's Khemri, the Nagash's buddies take on Jackal's Nurgle. That's going to be interesting, actually. The butt pains. Top Hat's Ho Ho Ho's, the Dark Elves, take on Oogs Uskiv Hugs, the Lizardmen. Varkson's Viking Raid Norse take on Urban Zora's Brody's Chosen Necromantic. That's the game of the week. And a second game of the week, actually. Smocko's Luck of the Rats take on Undo's Owls on Parades, Skaven versus Wood Elves. What do you think about the first game, Chris?
Well, it's hard to say who's going to be better in this one. Both are fine coaches.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think in this one both coaches are relatively unfamiliar with the team they're playing. They're 2 of the unlucky ones who've got teams they don't really know. So that's going to cause them some problems probably. But I think in terms of the way the 2 coaches play, I slightly prefer Hoy in this matchup, just because Khemri suits him more than Nurgle suits Jackal. That's the only thing. And the second game?
Here it's, I don't know, it could go either way, but I think Ook might come on top on this one. Depends if Top Hat continues to take risks. He sometimes tends to do that, but yeah, the dice might decide this one.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever actually played Top Hat. I think about this every week. I don't think we've ever had a game, but judging from the history of his time with Dark Elves, I think he's going to struggle this game, but the Assassin may actually play a role if he can get onto a couple of skinks. So that's something to look out for. And Varkson, Urban Zaro.
I don't know, I give up. I don't know who's going to take this one. It can truly go either way.
Yeah, Varkson does tend to stream his games, so that's definitely one to watch, I think. Obviously, these are two of the top coaches in our league facing off against each other, so it's nice to watch.
Yeah, Varkson has dominated this division, so I think he knows what he's doing, and with that Yeti now on the roster, he should do pretty well.
Yeah, also the Claw from the Werewolves is kind of cancelled out against Norse, so that's one threat that the Necromantics are going to be missing. I would never bet against Urban Zaro though. That sounds like a crazy bet. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to make a prediction there. We'll just see what happens. And Smocko against Undo.
Yeah, I prefer Rats on this one because they can come out stronger normally. and they are faster than the elves as well. What do you think?
Yes, Skaven is a hard matchup for Wood Elves, to be fair, though, well, it goes both ways, because the thing that Skaven's really good at, Wood Elves are also really good at, the thing that Wood Elves are really good at, Skaven is also really good at, so they kind of cancel each other out, but the main thing is that both coaches are, again, very experienced, so again, it's one that's worth watching, and again, it's one I wouldn't want to predict. Alright, and let's have a look at the leaderboard then. So we've got Norse at the top, Varkson with 4 straight wins. He's had a perfect season so far. Then we have Smoko in second, his Skaven with 3-0-1. Urban Zoro's Necromantic come in third with 2-2-0. Then we have Undo and Oog in fourth together with 1-2-1. Top Hat in fifth with 1-0-3. The Butt Pains in fourth with 0-2-2. And Hoy at the bottom, unfortunately, with 0-0-4. I don't think that the leaderboard is that surprising, to be honest. I think it's going pretty much as was predicted. Any surprises?
I would expect normally lizards to be higher.
Yeah. Though you have 4 coaches at the top who are more comfortable with the team they're playing. That's the only thing.
Well, maybe that's the reason, yeah.
Though Oog and Undo are drawn, so basically, yeah, I agree with you. Lizards should be higher realistically, but they're not having a bad season. They're doing okay. And there's only 2 teams that haven't lost a game yet. That's Urban Zoro and Varkson. So they're the ones to watch, quite possibly. And Smoko's only lost the 1, so yeah, that's interesting overall. Anyway, do you have anything else to say about this division before I close this video?
Well, I'm rooting for Camry as usual. I hope they manage to get higher.
Okay, so coming from the bottom, yeah?
Yeah.
That would be good to see, I agree. Okay, well, then we will end this here. Thank you, Krisjay, for joining me and helping me with this breakdown. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. As sort of training, if anything, or yeah, just having a look how it goes.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm glad you came to help. I could always do with more help with the breakdown, so if anybody does want to help out or do your own, that would be even better. Then you'll take a bit of work off my hands. It would really help. Talking about which, because we have the reports from Schleiss at the end of these games now, I'm actually going to drop this breakdown. This is going to be the last one that's done by me for Luck of the Dice, so keep an eye out for Schleiss's reports, because they do everything that I do, basically. They just do it much quicker. So keep an eye out for them. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you one more time to Krisjay. Please do check out his channel. It's linked everywhere. Go find it somewhere. And tell him I sent you, though he's sitting right next to me, so, well, he's not sitting right next to me, but he's sitting somewhere, and we're talking, so he can hear me saying that. But that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye for now.